Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. You are listening to BBAD Radio. Tonight, most of you already know this. That's why you're here. We're going to have from Big Brother 14, Shane and Danielle. They'll be joining us very shortly. So let's get it started. And let me introduce my amazing co-host, Erica.
That would be me.
That would be you.
We had
this is a much anticipated show. What?
We had a great show last night, and I foresee with Joe. You can, if you didn't listen to our Joe interview, it's available for archive.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we had him and Willie talked for the first time since the headbutt in the house, and that was interesting. And they're both really nice guys. So, and we have two really nice people going to be joining us tonight. And
Joe also mentioned he might be calling in to talk to Shane and Danielle, so we never know.
He did say he might call in tonight, so we'll see if Joe wants to call in and talk to his ex-house guests. And, we do these things. We've been doing this. This is our 5th season of doing this show, and we don't often have to say this, Erica, but I think we need to remind everybody the game is over. They're here as guests. They've said you can ask them anything. Just be respectful. That's all we ask. Fair enough?
I'm pretty sure that everybody knows that. If they don't, they do now. Also, we are going to be taking calls. Those who've already called in, hang tight. We will get to your calls, at least as many as we can. We have a lot of people on the switchboard already.
And we will not be taking anonymous or blocked calls.
We never do that. So
never do that. This is not something new. We won't take your blocked call. So if you want to say something to Danielle and Shane, unblock your number because you have nothing to hide, right?
Without further ado, we have both Shane and Danielle, and let's bring them on.
Great.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Shane. Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on our show tonight.
Not a problem. We're happy to be here.
Well, I know you guys are on speakerphone, so we're going to do our very best to have a good interview. And we want to talk a lot about the game, obviously. But let's get something out of the way right away. Are you two dating? Everybody wants to know, are you guys dating or not?
Danielle, you want this question or should I answer it?
You answer.
Right now, we're just kind of going with the swing of things. I was in a very depressed state, and I actually was surprised by Danielle. She flew up, and she surprised me, and we are now currently trying a long-distance relationship. And we're going to see how it works. So keeping our fingers crossed. So the answer to that is yes.
Very nice.
So.
And so this is a mutual like right now.
What was that? I'm sorry.
It's a mutual like. You both like each other, and you're spending time together.
Yeah, when you spend, 69 days in a house with someone for 24 hours a day, you really develop a relationship that's different than outside of the world. You wake up with them, you brush your teeth with them, you actually, you're unfortunately using the same bathroom as they are, and you really get to know them on a personal level. And, some of the conversations that Danielle and I had throughout the game, really got our friendship closer and closer. And my issue was, I didn't want to put big targets on our head, so I kind of pushed her away in the beginning. But once there was less house guests, I wanted to really pursue a showmance, and I did. I really wanted her to win the money, but at the same time, I wanted to as well. So yeah, it was tough the way it ended, and I'm still struggling, but she's here with me. She's helping me out, and I'm trying to help her out, and we're going to get through this together.
Well, how much support have the two of you received since being out of the house? I mean, I think, neither one of you are stupid. You see what's going on out there. How embraced have you been from the fans?
The fans that are supporting me and have been there, I absolutely adore them. They have no idea how much all the sweet comments, messages, letters mean to me. You know, I try to respond to everybody, but I mean, it means a lot that my fans have been so supportive.
On my side, yeah, it's great to know that people watching the show actually admired the way that, you know, both Danielle and I played. I think we played a similar game. You know, we were loyal. We didn't lie. We didn't really backstab. We were part of an alliance which, you know, kind of ultimately ended our realm together because, you know, we didn't trust Dan, and we shouldn't have. But, yeah, you know, I think we had a good stab at it, and, you know, if I could change something, it would just be, you know, I was a little more self-aware of my surroundings, and I probably more so towards the end of the game, I should have maybe played a little bit more socially. I thought I was a little bit comfortable, and when I really wasn't. So, yeah, that's pretty much the thing that I would take out of the whole experience. But it was a great experience. I mean, if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have met Danielle, and there was a lot of other great people that I met, and without the fan support, you know, none of it would have happened. So,
one word of advice to you, Shane.
Sure.
If you ever get asked back to be on Big Brother,
yeah,
don't ever offer yourself to go on the block. You did it not once, not twice. You did it so many times, and we were like, Shane, stop offering yourself up.
I know, and that's my one regret. You know, I put trust in my alliance, and that was probably my biggest downfall. That probably cost me the $500,000. And unfortunately, you know, I did. I put trust in my people, and they screwed me initially. And you know, I made a decision towards the end of the game that, you know, was a game changer, and I probably should have kept the noms the same. But again, I can't really look into the past anymore. It's already gone. You can't change it. But yeah, that was definitely the worst decision that I made, and I still regret it to this day. And that's what really gets me. I keep replaying that moment back in my mind. But you know, as a team player, you know, I want to make sure that with my alliance, I was available to go up as a pawn. You know, worst case scenario, just to value, you know, me as a player in my alliance. So, to me, it was an unselfish move, but to other people, it was probably a selfish move.
Well, you got to let that go, Shane. I know it's bothered you. How you were evicted. You let it go. Which brings me to Danielle. Danielle, you trusted Dan to a fault. You trusted him. He continuously lied to you. He evicted Shane, and yet you still trusted him. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you know, clearly everybody knows I was completely heartbroken, devastated after Shane left. I didn't see it coming at all. But then, you know, when it was down just to Dan, Ian, and myself, who else did I have to trust, you know? Like, I didn't have anybody else. I felt so alone and secluded. So, you know, I didn't really know what else to do. I didn't know who else to turn to. I didn't feel like I had anybody.
But even after he evicted Dan, even after he evicted Shane when he swore to you that he wouldn't, you still dropped out of the first part of the HOH for him.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for him. It was because I didn't want to be fighting the game by myself, and that's why I stayed up there for a long time contemplating it after he kept asking me to drop. And I was just thinking, well, if I don't drop and he does end up beating me on this, then I will be fighting for myself no matter what. And I did still think that Dan would probably take me over Ian. You know, I had no idea that him and Ian had a final two until later. So I just didn't want to still be playing for myself, and I knew probably if I didn't fall, I didn't want the wrath of Dan on me too.
Yeah, and in the same token, Ian did not know that Dan had a final two with you.
Yeah.
If Dan had ended up winning that final HOH, do you think he was going to bring you to the end with him?
No, I think he would have taken Ian.
Really?
Knowing what I know now.
Have you either one of you talked to Dan since the season has ended?
No.
No, I did, stupidly as this probably sounds, I did go up to him after the game, and God put it on my heart to forgive him for what he did. And, I don't know if that was a smart move or not, but, I did. I shook his hand. I said, it's a game. You basically screwed me out of $500,000, and, now I'm back to, living paycheck to paycheck. I don't appreciate the way you did it, but I did apologize, and I forgave him. So,
that's good because, I don't know if you heard, we had Willie and Joe on the show last night who haven't talked since the headbutt, and they've moved on, sort of. Yeah. So I think that's really important to be able to.
But Jane, do you take ownership in that? I could see how you see it that way, but I really liked what Will said on the finale night that, you guys believe the lies. You know what I'm saying? Do you take ownership and, you're the one who bought into it. You didn't have to.
Yeah, we did. We did believe Dan. We trusted him.
He would say, final three. Right after his funeral, he was saying final three, and we didn't know what he was saying to other people. If he was called out in front of a house meeting, he would have definitely gotten caught in a bunch of lies, and then we would have dealt with him then. But we all thought he was gone. When Frank tried getting him out. So you can't play the should have, coulda, woulda game. I've been playing that for the past 3 weeks, and it's destroying me. But you don't know. You don't know what to trust when you're in that house and who to trust. He can tell you one thing, and then in the next room he's telling Ian the exact opposite. So it's really tough playing the game inside the house as opposed to as a viewer.
Let's go back to the funeral. How did you guys believe that? To me, it was really bad acting.
Well, in the moment, he had just gotten out of 24-hour solitary confinement, and I was just so worried about him, and, I kept trying to talk to him, and he wouldn't even talk to me before he had his funeral, so, the hour or two or whatever he had between that and the funeral, I knew something was up because he was acting really weird towards me, and when he did that and he called me out in front of everybody, I was just more hurt because I was on the block because I wouldn't say anything bad against him, and I told Frank I wouldn't vote against him either. And so I was just more stunned and hurt that I felt like he wanted to publicly humiliate me in front of the whole house.
But when he first started off and he was, had the fake crying and that, did either one of you think, this is such bullshit?
No.
Yeah, really. When I felt bad for him, he came out of the solitary confinement. He actually had to go see the medic because he was in such a state of mind that, really screwed him up. He was throwing up. He was definitely not in the right state of mind. So we all thought that was part of it. And then we obviously knew that he thought he was going home. He did everything that he could for the POV, to take himself off the block. So we really thought, that was his way of saying goodbye. That was his last attempt. And definitely didn't think it was an act. So we were all kind of fooled.
And Danielle, right up into, I said earlier, right up to the very end of the game, you were loyal to Dan completely, even so much as being the only vote for Dan to win the money.
Yeah.
Do you regret that vote, or are you glad you stuck to your guns?
Well, between commercial breaks that y'all don't see is Dan and I are in the arcade room, and Dan's crying and saying, apologizing for letting me down and sorry he couldn't win it for me, and then he, was like, do I still have your vote? And I was like, yes, because I thought he was being sincere again, I'm still in the game. I still thought, he was being honest to me and whatever. And, when I get out there and then I find all this stuff out, I'm glad I voted